Good evening. I'm going to call the December 19th, 2023 regular meeting of the Town Board to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Present.
Councilmember Delarada.
Here.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Here.
Councilmember Brennan.
Here.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Here. All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We wish to respectfully acknowledge that Niskayuna is on the traditional lands of the Kanekahaka people and the Mahikanac peoples, past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the peoples who have stewarded this land throughout generations. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the November 16th, 2023 regular Town Board meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes from the November 16th, 2023 regular meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Are there any changes to those minutes? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those minutes have passed. Those minutes are approved. We're going to go a little bit out of order this evening because we have a very important ceremonial resolution. So I'd like to turn our attention to the resolution number 2023-304, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution honoring Nick Thomas for being the first Niskayuna student athlete to qualify for NXN Nike Cross National Championship in Oregon.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Well, I would just like to congratulate Nick. He is the first Niskayuna High School student athlete, scholar athlete to qualify and compete on this very significant national event, the Nike Cross Country National Championships in Eugene, Oregon. Nick has also been named as a Times Union Cross Country Athlete of the Year, which is an incredible feat. He's a scholar athlete who has a 4.0 GPA at Niskayuna High School, and he is planning to continue his athletic and academic efforts in college. And I just want to say congratulations. It's an amazing feat. As a former track runner, a sprinter, not a cross-country runner, I am in awe of your accomplishments, and I am very excited to see what the future holds for you. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, I'll say congratulations, Nick. Your hard work really paid off, and you brought your cheering section today. I know they're very proud of you, and we all are very proud of you. Great job.
There's not many people that say they were first to do something, and you are a first. That's a big honor. Congratulations.
All right. Without further ado, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Aye.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Nick, I'd like to invite you up to take a few pictures.
Mom and Dad could come up too.
Would you like to tell us a little bit more about what you've accomplished from that? Would you like to tell us a little bit about what you've accomplished?
Yeah, it's a long season. A lot of years of work put into it. The support of my teammates, my parents, coaches, they all helped me accomplish this feat, and it's just nice to see all the hard work paying off.
Congratulations. Tell us, for those of us who don't run cross country, how long is this race that you run?
It's 5K, so 3.1 miles.
And how quickly do you run this 5K?
My best is 15 minutes and 39 seconds.
Holy cow. My best is 26 minutes, and that was after going through insanity
Yeah.
for like a full 3 months. The best shape I've been in 10 years. So kudos.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
amazing. And will you continue to run those races, do you think, in the future?
Yeah, so in college, they actually increased the distance to 8 kilometers and 10 kilometers. So,
Excellent. And you're a senior,
yep.
and you're looking at schools.
Yes, yeah.
Well, congratulations. Thank you. Let's take a few pictures to congratulate you. How about mom and dad? You put them on that side. Awesome. Good job. Yeah. Good job. Thank you. Congrats. And I look forward to
Well
seeing you compete and keep us posted.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, geez, it's making me feel like I got to start working out again. Oh, well. Okay, very nice. So let's see, we went a little bit out of order. We'll come back to our original agenda items and we'll move on to our public hearing. So we will now move on to the public hearing, and I'd like the clerk to please call for the public hearing.
A public hearing regarding an amendment to the town code of the town of Niskuna that would place parking restrictions on a portion of Plum Street.
Okay, thank you. The public hearing is now open. If there are any residents who'd like to speak about this issue. Okay, well, seeing there is no resident here to speak for this issue during this public hearing, I will go ahead and close this public hearing. And we would go ahead and move on to privilege of the floor. Yes.
I had one person, Leslie Gold.
Leslie Gold, 1919 Pawtucket Avenue. I just want to comment, it's really good to see the Animal Protective Foundation of Schenectady back online for providing temporary shelter for stray dogs and whatever. And I will note they've got a few dogs available for adoption now, and odds are that number will be increasing.
Okay, the floor is still open for any other resident who'd like to speak. Okay. I'll go ahead and close privilege of the floor, and we will move on to a presentation from our town assessor, Eric Amberger. He will be walking us through our tax bills and helping us understand the property tax bill. And this is recorded, so we will have this available for any resident and anyone to stream online. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. So as you heard, my name is Eric Amberger. I'm the assessor for the town of Niskuna. And we're going to have our January tax bills coming out in a couple of weeks. And I was asked just to give a brief presentation to explain what these are all about. If you notice up on the screen is a sample tax bill. And you'll also notice that I have on the left-hand column, broke it out into sections so it's a little more easy to understand. So I'm not going to go over every bullet point I have. And they have copies of the tax bill and copies of my talking points in the back if anybody wants those. But if you notice in section A is the property tax bill heading. And that's basically who's sending out the tax bill, what it's for, what time frame we're talking about. Okay, in this case, it's January tax bill, town and county. Section B is the billing and property data. And there's 2 columns that have the section B1 next to them. And that's basically your payment options, pay it, mail it in, Dropbox, bring it to the receiver taxes, the payment address. And if you look towards the bottom of that second column, is the penalty-free period of January 1st to January 31st, where you can pay your taxes and not have any interest or penalties. It's a January tax bill, we pay it in January. Go a little bit to our right, and we're going to see a code here, a 422400 code. And that's called a Swiss code. And every taxing jurisdiction in New York State has its own unique Swiss code. That one's for the town of Niskayuna. Next to that is that 999 code. That's called a section block and lot code. And every property in the state has their own unique section block and lot code, or an SBL code. And SBLs are used to locate and identify properties within the state. Now, underneath that is a little bit of information about the property, the town, the school district code. There's something called a property class. And each type of property has its own, is grouped into a class. In this case, the sample is a single family house, and it's called a 210 class. There's a 2-family house, be a 220, an apartment building 411. It's got pages and pages of property class codes. Underneath that, something called the roll section, or next to that is the roll section, excuse me. And this property is in roll section 1, which is the ordinary taxable section of my assessment roll. Okay, there's up to 8 sections. We use 5 in the town. Most of the property is in section 1. If you go through escrow, you'll have a bank code there. There's no escrow on this property. Now, if you look a little bit further down to our left, on option B3, on point B3, that's the mailing name and address. And that's going to go in the window of the envelope, pretty self-explanatory. For most properties, that's the owner's name and the owner's address, the owner's home address. You can send it to someone else. You can, if you're a lot of elderly people have it going to their adult children. Okay, sometimes it goes to PO boxes, things like that. Okay, so section 3 is the property taxpayer bill of rights. Oh, almost lost it there. If we go to section C1, that just details out the state aid to the county and the town. Section C2 is dealing with the value of your property. That 314 number, that $314,000 number, that's your assessed value. Below that is the equalization rate. And that's the difference between the assessments and the market. And that last number there, the $352,000, that's just doing math, dividing the assessed value by the equalization rate. That's the estimated market value. Now, the state's put together a pamphlet, and that's C3, called Contesting Your Assessment in New York State. I have a copy of it in my office. It's on my website. The state has it on their website. If you feel that market value is too high, get the pamphlet, read it over. It tells you how to grieve your assessment, which is the 4th Tuesday in May of every year. So section D is the exemption section of the tax bill. And an exemption is the difference between the assessed value and the taxable value. And most exemptions on the residential side apply to the county, the school, and the town in some combination. Not every exemption is applied to every jurisdiction evenly or at all, but that's where they get applied to. They don't get applied to special districts. Okay, and so when we go to section E, and this is kind of the heart of the calculations that everybody always focuses on, is the property tax calculations. Excuse me. And there's a number of columns. I'm going to go through them from left to right. The first column is the taxing jurisdiction, the taxing purpose. Who's levying a tax on your property? That first one is called state and federal mandates. That's a fancy way of saying Schenectady County. That's what they want. That's what I put. Then we have the town taxes, which is the town general, the town highway, and the election charges. We also have every house in town, every property in town is in a fire district. Okay, we have special districts throughout town. They can be for drainage, lighting, parks. We also have special districts to pay the debt service on our water and sewer. And of course, every September, we have a school tax bill. That's different jurisdiction. Now, just for note, between the September school tax bill and the January tax bill, of all the taxes that are imposed on the town of Niskayuna is responsible for 11.7% of those taxes. That includes the town, general, highway, election fund, and all the special districts. So not quite 88% belongs to someone else. We're going to go to my next column here. And that's the total tax levy. And that tells you how much property taxes each jurisdiction is looking to collect so they can provide services back to our community. My next column, E3, is the change from the previous year. Are we spending more? Are we spending less? Column E4 is the taxable assessed value or units. As I mentioned before in the exemptions, not everybody pays their full assessment. All right, and if you have an exemption on your property, your taxable value is going to be lower. In the case of the water and sewer charges, you have a unit charge per property. In this case, it's a single-family house. It's going to be 1 unit charge. Two-family house, 2 unit charges. If it's an apartment building, a charge for each unit in the apartment building. So next to that is you have the rates per thousand per unit. Okay, and that's basically, it's a pretty simple formula, but that's how much we're going to tax each property or each taxable value to come up with the taxes. And it's a rate per thousand, or it's the unit charge. It's $94, $250 for the water and sewer charges. And the last column on the right is the tax amount, and that's how much each unit is imposing on your property. And it's a pretty simple calculation. You take the taxable amount, multiply it by the tax rate, and divide it by 1,000. That's it. In the case of the water and sewer, how many units do you have? What's the charge per unit? There's your charge. And of course, we follow it down a little bit further to E7, and those big numbers there, that's the bottom line tax bill of what you owe on this tax bill. Now, Section F, I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you don't pay your bills on time, there will be interest fees attached to it. And this is what you're going to expect to pay if you don't pay it on time. Section G is basically it's the receipt. If you want a third party to receive your tax bills, you can fill out that form there on G1. Okay, bring that to the receiver of taxes. They'll take care of that for you. And just you have the receipt on the bottom, which pretty much rehashes everything you've seen up top, just in a condensed version. Now, there's a couple of things that I didn't show on this example. Sometimes we have unpaid fees that do get put on this tax bill. They include unpaid water and sewer fees, unpaid alarm fees, unpaid yard waste fees, and if the town has to come out to mow your lawn because it's 3 feet tall, yard maintenance fees. And you'll see that there. And now lastly, you might have back taxes on your property. If you see something that's called school re-levy, it means you haven't paid your school tax bill in September, and it's being re-levied back on your January tax bill. We haven't forgotten about that. And finally, you might see a paragraph on your tax bill that starts with taxes from one or more prior levies remain due and owing. That means you haven't paid last year's property tax bill, maybe more, and your property is in danger of having a tax foreclosure. There's a phone number from County Finance. Please call them. You'll learn your rights and responsibilities as a taxpayer. Like I said, I have extra copies at the front desk. Looking around, I probably have enough for everybody today. I hope everyone found this useful. Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Eric. Eric, you and I discussed this before you did your presentation. Again, I want to thank you. Tell us a little bit more about some of the things you did that I didn't even know about that you do for some residents in our town about their exemptions and things like that.
If you're a senior citizen or disabled and you meet certain income requirements, you may be eligible for exemptions which lower your taxable value. And they have to be renewed every year. It's an income requirement. We don't know what it is every year. And we sent out the renewals twice, actually. If I don't hear back from you, I'll go to your house with the renewal form in hand before the deadline. I'll knock on the door and I'll ask for something in hand so I don't have to take your exemption away. Please don't make me do that.
Yes, thank you. That's quite a service that you do for our residents, that you personally go there.
I mean, it's the intent of the law. It's to get relief to these taxpayers. I can't in good conscience not let that, let the intent of the law fall to the wayside. And all I really have to do at that point, if they say, I don't have my documents, I'm running out of time, what do I do, Eric? Yeah, what you do is you sign the form. When I get back to the office, I'll stamp it. It's in on time. Now we just reset the clock. All right, and I'll give you a little more time to get the paperwork in, get your documents together, and again, get you the relief that you need.
Eric, you take the service part of your job very seriously. You educate people and you empower them, and you really care about that service component of your career. So thank you very much for that. It's very, like Bill said, it's amazing.
Thank you.
You go above and beyond.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And that's sort of another reason for him to give this presentation, because I don't think that a lot of residents understand their tax bills, and they don't understand what really comes under the authority of this town board. They're Niskayuna Town Board. And your calculations show that the town board in managing the town is responsible for 11.7% of the total taxes that are levied in the town.
Yeah, that's it. And for individual taxpayers, it could be as low as 8.5%, depending on where the water and sewer fees fall.
Right. And full disclosure, we have utility bills, and that's
Yeah.
our water and sewer charges that are those are based on, some of them on consumption. The more water you use, the more
Yeah.
you will pay.
Yeah, someone who has 7 kids in a house and an irrigated 2-acre lawn, it's going to pay more than me.
Can we return to the sewer and water lines? I noticed, I just want to make sure this is for debt service,
Yes, this is for debt service,
not usage.
not usage. If you don't pay your usage, then it's a water and sewer relevy, and that's going to show up separately.
Understood. Okay. Thank you.
All right,
I
thank you.
appreciate that.
If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you, Eric.
you. We will make sure to have this presentation available online. So I appreciate you sharing this information.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our committee reports. And we'll start with police and public safety.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. Is this microphone weird? I feel like it's echoing. Is it okay? All right.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, okay. Our committee met on December 7th at 3:30. Under operations, Chief Koshin and Attorney Finnan are working on our towing bid for 2024 for fleet and equipment. New uniforms and protective gloves have been ordered. This came secondary to our discussion with our workman's comp carrier. For training, our anti-bias training for law enforcement is ongoing. Recruit O'Brien started in-service training on the 8th, and active shooter training is tentatively scheduled for April 3rd to 4th at Niskuna High School. This would be in collaboration with Fire District 1 and county agencies. Our goal would be to have the Niskuna High School staff and administrators as part of the training. For citizen correspondence, John Moak requested we evaluate the need for the current stop sign at Windsor and Briar Ridge. There's a stop sign at Paper Street, so he asked us to take a look at that. For town events, we have Coffee with the Cop continuing every third Tuesday of the month at the Senior Center, and we had it at Target on the 5th. We had our holiday parade for adoptive family this past weekend. It was a huge success. We started here at Town Hall with residents able to have hot cocoa that was donated by the Niskuna Community Foundation, and it was served by our Niski Girl Scouts, and kids and families were able to take pictures with Santa and then wave goodbye to Santa as the police department led the parade, and Santa was on, I believe it's called a ladder truck for Fire District 1, and went around town, around the Fire District 1 district, collecting gifts for adoptive family, and then ended at the co-op Plaza. And Niskuna Softball was serving hot cocoa and cookies that were donated by the co-op. We had the Salvation Army brass band playing, and it was just a great time. We had dogs that were dressed up. Santa got off the truck and took some more pictures, and it was very great. The fire department representative dropped off all the gifts, a fire truck filled with gifts to the social work department on Monday to be distributed to Niskuna families. So it was a great success, and we thanked everyone who helped make that possible this weekend. Under town clerk business, there was a discussion regarding dog permits and choices we have to enforce the various codes on that. That will be an ongoing discussion. For fire department, Chief Linkerfelter stated that there's upcoming firefighter tests and that they are recruiting ongoing. Their efforts are ongoing with their recruiting. For the school district, our bus patrol technology is continuing to be installed, and we're looking at an end of February, beginning of March start date for that, or to start it to be working, not to start the work on it. For personnel, we are working on appointing a dog control officer. We have a Niskuna resident, Bruce Hirschenroder, and he is highly qualified for this position. We were very excited to find him, and the department's been working on processing him and working with him to get him started, and we have a resolution tonight to vote on his hire. And we have a permanent appointment resolution for Dustin Spataro. And in other news, we're looking to amend the town code for no parking on Plum Street where there are new sidewalks so that emergency responders can get through there. We're looking at tuition reimbursement for Officer Breslin, and Comptroller Greenwood is working on a new form and a process for this. And we are looking at agreements for the APF and SPCA for housing lost dogs. And Chief Koshin noted that the fees for both those agencies are going up this year. So for resolutions, we have the permanent appointment of Officer Spataro, appointing the dog control officer, Bruce Hirschenroder. We have agreements with APF and the Susquehanna SPCA, and tuition reimbursement for an Officer Breslin. And our next meeting is January 4th at 3:30.
Thank you, Councilmember Brennan. Moving on to community programs.
Thank you, Supervisor. The Community Programs Committee met earlier this month on December 7th, and Julie Lohr gave us an update on this year's West Mountain Ski Club. We have a total of 56 participants registered for this year's club, and the bus is full. It will run January 5th through February 9th. Our annual Toys for Tots collection has ended for this season. We collected a total of 4 boxes full of toys this year, and of course, we thank all of our residents for their generous donations. Things of My Very Own wish tag distribution is also underway and will continue through January 4th of 2024. So far, as of this afternoon, we have sent out 948 electronic tags, and at least 250 tags have been taken off the tree right outside in the rotunda. It's estimated that we've helped over 1,200 families. And of course, we thank everyone who has reached out for tags or who has stopped here to grab a tag. I thought it was impressive, and I mentioned at our committee meeting that people from neighboring counties have reached out looking for tags, but Lori mentioned that somebody from California had reached out. So it's pretty impressive and speaks volumes for the generosity of people around us. Our annual tree lighting ceremony was held last Friday evening. Entertainment was provided by the high school choir. Hot chocolate and candy canes were served after the tree was lit. And the Niskuna Community Foundation sponsors this event every year. So thank you to them for their support. Parents' Night Out was held the following day, last Saturday. That event was at full capacity, and we ended up having a small wait list. Kids ages 4 to 10 wore their pajamas, did arts and crafts, and watched a movie. And the cost of admission to that event was one toy for Toys for Tots. The holiday spirit is also in full swing at the Senior Center. A holiday luncheon was held earlier this month where 45 seniors attended. Lunch was provided by Gershon's Deli, and the high school choir also provided entertainment at that event. Also of note, Lieutenant Paramedic Nick Persons from Niskuna Fire District 1 recently visited the Senior Center and taught a class on smoke detectors and fire extinguishers. The fire district also has a program where they provide and install smoke detectors to residents over age 55. So Lieutenant Persons provided some information on that program. Dr. Barry LaFedo recently presented a seminar called Managing Your Medication. And other than that, at the Senior Center, all of our programming is continuing as normal. As always, a list full of programs and their schedules can be found on the town's website. And as a reminder to our residents, the Senior Center will be closed next week through January 4th for their annual holiday break. As the supervisor reported at our agenda meeting last week, there will be some upcoming changes to committee structures and assignments. So I am not sure of the next date for that committee meeting. However, residents who want to attend in person can check the website for information on that. Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you, Councilmember Moskowitz. Moving on to Public Works.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. We met on the 7th of December, Transportation, Public Facilities, the first portion of our meeting. Ray Smith, our Highway Superintendent, reports on that. Reports that our highway crews were out patching roads, basins, and repairs and doing drainage work, which is obviously very important, as everyone probably realizes from Monday's storm. We fared pretty well with that storm in most of our drainage areas. We had a few problems, but every time something like that happens, we learn more and then we try to remedy it and plan for the future, and we will continue to do that. Personnel wise, we are still have one vacancy in the Parks Department. We're going to start to re-advertise that in the new year. Parks crews have been servicing their equipment from the summer usage and getting ready to put it away and getting ready for winter operations. Yard waste, we've completed that. Sometimes residents will miss that last pickup. They'll call the highway garage and we'll make every effort to try to get the leaves up if they happen to miss it. We're done with that now. But it is important that we do that because, as you can see, when we get a big rainstorm, those leaves end up in our catch basins and drainage areas, and that just causes problems. So we did do one last sweep and we've got that taken care of. Just to give you some information, we pick up probably the equivalent of 352 10-wheel dump trucks of leaves every fall. That's a lot of material. And shout out to the Highway Department, the Parks Department. Everybody pitches in this effort to get the leaves up. And as always, they did a great job with that. We've got a resolution on for this evening on our bid extensions for materials used in public works and our water and sewer department, are both those together. So it's an extensive list, but they do a great job in holding our prices down by working with the vendors to get multiple year contracts, and we just extend pricing. And usually that works out very well for us because the material may go up, but a lot of our vendors will hold their prices. Disc golf and low mow, we bought a new mower for that area in town, and that piece of equipment worked very well on its last mow of those areas. Highway garage mechanics, getting ready for the winter, getting the plows on the trucks. And we also talked about Rose Hill Boulevard. We had an outside contractor, Verizon came in, as everyone knows, putting in underground cabling or conduits for fiber optics. They did some boring under the road on Rose Hill that we were not happy with. So Ray and Matt went out there, examined the work, spoke to the contractors, and got them fixing the areas where they really did not do the proper job that they needed to. Next portion of our meeting is our Public Works, Matt Yetto, Water and Sewer, our Engineering Department. We discussed some outside user agreements for sewers on Aqueduct Road. We also discussed the water main work on Balltown Road that we were hoping was going to take place in December, but now that looks like it's going to take place in January. That's being held up by National Grid. This is being done by outside contractors, but we discuss these things at our meetings because it's very important to the town because the water will be shut off. It's going to be night work and traffic. So we got to get the police department involved so everyone knows what's going on, but that's been pushed off to January. Again, water and sewer maintenance, we discussed the chemical bids and the material bids. That's a resolution that we have this evening. We discussed the utility bills and a resolution for that. Our wastewater treatment, organic waste program is going well. We're working directly with outside haulers to increase the material there that we're going to be able to take in. We've got our biogas generator up and running, so that's working well. The water treatment plant, our work there is going well, not as quickly as we would like due to we're waiting for some electrical equipment. And that has really kind of set that project at a bit of a standstill, but we're hopeful that we're waiting for one piece of equipment to come in for that. And we're hopeful we're going to see that soon. Recycle center, transfer station. We talked about the annual landfill inspection that we have. That went well. A few minor things we have to take care of there, but that inspection went well. Yes, and again, we're shifting some committee assignments around here, so I'm not certain when the next meeting will be. I'm hoping possibly January 4th, 8 a.m. That's when I like my meetings, but we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Councilmember
Thank you.
McPartlin. I believe I gave the two of you homework to have this date ready by today. So we're going to have some detention.
All right.
I'm writing a referral. Okay. Thank you. All right. Next up is economic development, historic preservation, and environmental conservation.
Thank you, Supervisor and fellow council members. We met on the first Friday of December, which was December 1st. We're going to meet on the first Friday of the new year, which I believe is going to be January 5th. And that will be at 8:30 right here in Town Hall as always. A quick recap on 2023, of course, was very busy. A lot of construction activity at both Rivers Ledge of Niskayuna and our Harmon Grove single-family subdivision. We launched the vacant home registration program, which I think is going to go a long way in helping out the zombie homes. I want to thank Trish Bergami for getting that up and running. That was a big help. Also, our boards have been very busy. The Conservation Advisory Council has at least 4 new initiatives recently, including Quiet Niskayuna, Wildlife Corridors, composting, and the NRI Phase 2 grant program. The Tree Council had a very successful Arbor Day. That was wonderful, gave away more than 300 trees. Complete Streets is going completely nuts, I guess. They're really going off the rails, driving everybody crazy, but they're doing a lot. They're doing stuff with Route 7. They're helping out with grant applications. And they also celebrated the Plum Street sidewalk in conjunction with our school board. So they will continue to do lots of stuff, I'm sure. The planning board, always busy. They approved a new dance studio on Eastern Avenue recently. They did a 2-lot subdivision with General Electric, which is very big because that's going to help GE in their division process and stay here in the town of Niskayuna, keeping jobs and growth here. So that's a wonderful thing. And we also got a quick peek at the new Market 32 that is coming in, and it seems to be pretty exciting. There's going to be a lot of improvements there to our town center overlay district. And we hope to see everybody on January 5th after all have a happy and safe holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember De La Rada. Well, I will keep my remarks very brief. You all did an excellent job covering the bulk of town business. Despite our challenging times that we find ourselves in as global citizens and American citizens, and also residents in Niskayuna, we still have to look for ways to find hope and joy during the season. Town Hall is a really special place to be in December, and Councilmember Moskowitz and Councilmember Brennan both discussed some really important activities that occurred this month. We began with our annual tree lighting, and although I was not able to attend because I was at the Army-Navy game, go Army, beat Navy, I know that the event was full of joy and very well attended, so that was really great. Again, the Niskayuna Community Foundation helps support that event, and also we are lucky enough to have our very talented Niskayuna High School choir, partner with us, and they could showcase all of their talents, which is wonderful. We also have our highway department who every year helps procure and decorate that tree. And after the holiday, it will return to the highway garage. And in the spring, it will be planted. So it will have a new home in one of our town parks. Thank you to the highway department. The spirit of generosity and giving is always quite clear, as evidenced by our Marine Corps Toys for Tots, as Councilmember Moskowitz shared, and the Giving Tags program for things of my very own. And also, as Councilmember Brennan mentioned, the Niskayuna Santa Parade. All of these programs help collect gifts for families and children in need. And so I'm really thankful for the staff who helps make this happen. Our Director of Community Programs, Lori Peretti, does a really amazing job of organizing and helping collect gifts for things of my very own. And our Police Chief Koshin, Fire Chief Lingenfelter, Denny Placus from Fire District 1, and Councilmember Brennan helped organize that Santa Parade, which again was a very big hit. So I just want to say it always takes a team. Thank you all for being great team members and just, bringing your A game, especially when it comes to helping other people. Although I was not at that event on Saturday, I was laying wreaths at the Saratoga National Cemetery with one of our very own residents, Mr. Gary Koger, who is a Navy veteran and also a member of the Patriot Guard Riders. So many folks would probably expect us to be on the complete opposites of the spectrum. And yet, when he came to my office to invite me to attend this wreath laying event for Wreaths Across America, of course, I couldn't help but join him. And we had a wonderful time together. It's something he does every year, and he travels all across the country by motorcycle with other riders to, help veterans and help veterans who have lost their lives in duty. So I just want to give Mr. Kocher a shout out and thank him for all his volunteerism. I would also just, again, like to close by saying thank you to all of our town employees. You make working here very special. My administrative assistant, Jean Fody, has been the salt to my pepper, and she is a great teammate who helps keep all of us organized and motivated. We had a wonderful celebration today in Town Hall for lunch where we were able to come together and celebrate the holidays. And we also had a nice lunch at the Water and Sewer Garage with the Highway Transportation Department. And it's just an honor to always be invited to these events and get to celebrate the holidays with you. So with that, I want to say happy holidays. Have a wonderful new year. I'll see you tomorrow, but it's always nice to acknowledge that. And we will meet again in 2024. Ted, you're still going to be, we are planning some really fun things, and I promise you are going to be invited. And you're getting a holiday card. Be ready. I'm sending you one. So with all of that, we'll go ahead and move on to our resolutions. So we'll start with Resolution 2023-286. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution accepting the extension of bids for materials and services used by the town's highway department for 2024.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-287, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution permanently appointing a police officer.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I know we're very excited that Dustin Spataro is getting this permanent appointment. He's an amazing addition to our department. And 18 months ago, he came to us and said that he wanted to have a change of life and leave being an insurance agent and follow his lifelong dream of pursuing being a police officer. And he met his goal and he did it in an amazing way. We're so excited to have him and very excited tonight to give him this permanent position.
I am also seconding all of your remarks. Officer Spataro is a great addition to our department, and I actually saw him at Hannaford. We were shopping, and he was with another officer, and you know, who doesn't like to see your supervisor on a Saturday evening when you're out having fun, getting goodies to, you know, watch a football game? And there he was, and just stopped and had a wonderful conversation with me. He's a very nice person and a very good officer. And it's so exciting to see people who want to have a life change and become a public servant and come to our department, want to come to our Niskuna Police Department. So we're honored to have him, and I'm excited to permanently appoint him. All right, with no other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
Resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-288, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing certain budgetary modifications.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-289, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution approving the reconciliation of residential and commercial utility rents charged and collected for the first half of 2023.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-290, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the acceptance of a donation for AEDs to be utilized in town parks.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
This donation was made by Niskuna resident Mike Casella in honor of the late Niskuna resident Betty Burgess. And Mr. Casella is here in the audience tonight. So Mike, thank you again for your generosity.
Yes, thank you, Mike, for your generosity. I've known Mike Casella for, wow, probably too long. Maybe 50 years probably. So he's a good man. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, thank you, Michael. This is, may go to save a life. So that's a very important contribution. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Thank you, Mr. Casella. Resolution number 2023-291, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution amending the rules of procedure for the committees of the town of Niskiuna.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Just again, we discussed this in the Finance and Government meeting. I'll briefly summarize. We're returning to a previous organizational structure for our government committees. The major changes are that Highway, Parks, and Recreation are now together, and that will be overseen by Councilmember McPartlin. And Water, Sewer, and Engineering will now be overseen by Councilmember Moskowitz. And the remaining committees will stay the same. And I look forward to working with you all and seeing the great work you will do in the future. Any other discussion? Okay. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-292, sponsored by Councilmember De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution appointing a member to the 2023 Comprehensive Development Plan Committee.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, this is currently a member of the ZBA, the Zoning Board of Appeals, Joey Gentile. We had another representative from the ZBA on the Comprehensive Development Plan Committee who has moved on. So he's filling that position, and I think he's going to be a great addition. He's an architect, and he's very passionate about Niskiuna. So I think he's also a newer resident. So I think that will bring some new ideas based on his the previous places he's lived. So seeing no other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-293, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into a contract with the Susquehanna SPCA for dog sheltering services.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-294, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution accepting a water main on Hilltop Road.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-295, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution adopting the salary schedule for non-represented employees for 2024.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Abstain?
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
4 ayes and 1 abstention.
thank you. The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-296, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing college reimbursement costs for the town of Niskuna police officer.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion?
This is for tuition reimbursement for Officer Derek Breslin, who's in school to become a licensed mental health counselor with a concentration with first responders.
Excellent. We're honored to have Officer
Breslin?
Breslin join our team. He's an incredible asset, and I'm very proud of him for continuing his education, particularly in the field, counseling, and I think that will make him a better police officer and help him grow into the leader I think he will be in the future. So without any other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-297, sponsored by Councilmember De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution appointing an additional deputy zoning enforcement officer in the Planning and Building Department of the town of Niskuna.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion?
This will be a big help, as well as Mr. Gentile will be on the advisory committee. They're both important positions, but this will go a long way in our increased building and zoning that's been going on for the past year. So we're looking forward to having Michael Auerbach aboard.
Thank you. Seeing no other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-298, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution appointing a dog control officer for the town of Niskuna.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion?
I'd like to say thank you to Chief Koshin for his endless work to find someone who would be a great match for this position, and I think he hit the jackpot. We have Bruce Hirschenroder joining our team here. He's a Niskuna resident, and I'm just going to read some qualifications because I'm pretty excited about him. He's Special Deputy for Schenectady County Sheriff. He's a sergeant in the Schenectady County Auxiliary Police, and he's on the Schenectady County SPCA Animal Cruelty Task Force. So we're excited to have him join us, and thank you for everyone who worked hard to find this great match.
Well done. All right, seeing no other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-299, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into a contract with Animal Protection Foundation of Schenectady Incorporated for dog sheltering services.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-300, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution establishing the dates of the meetings of the town board in 2024.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion?
Question, that first meeting in January, the organizational meeting, shouldn't that also be a special meeting? 'Cause the clerk, I think, has to send out notification of that, yes?
The organizational is a special meeting.
But we should put that on, shouldn't we note it as such?
You can note it as a special
Okay.
meeting. Did you
Are all
wanna
our
make the
meetings
So I'll
motion to
make a
amend?
motion that we add for the January meeting, that it's the organizational/special meeting and agenda.
Okay, is there a second on that motion?
I will second the motion to amend.
All those in favor for the amending to special meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that has been amended. Is there any discussion on the amended resolution? Okay. Seeing no other discussion, will the clerk please
Do we-
call the roll? Yes?
Do we need
no?
a second on the amended resolution?
Oh, yes. Do we need a second? May I have
I'll
a second on the amended resolution?
Second?
Any discussion? Okay. Seeing no discussion, will the clerk please call the roll on the amended resolution?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-301, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute a member participation renewal agreement with New York State Municipal Workers' Compensation Alliance.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-302, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution establishing consolidated drainage and storm sewer district number 1 in the town of Niskiuna.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-303, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into a renewal agreement for insurance coverage for the town.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion. Where'd my pen go? I don't know. Oh, there it is. I found it. I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session pursuant to Public Officers Law, Section 105, subsection F, to discuss the medical and employment history of a particular person or persons. At the close of executive session, we will not take up any additional town business. Do I have a second?
Second.
At the, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, we're now moving into executive session. Thank you.